So I'd like to thank everyone who messaged me showing appreciation for the last mini video tutorial that I put up regarding some songwriting tips that would help you improve on your songwriting. And with that came a bunch of other questions regarding melody and lyrics. So today I'm going to give you a couple of little tips that should help improve on your melody and lyrical choice. So the first thing is grammar. When you're writing a song, grammar is not the most important aspect. So what I mean by this is that there's a very successful songwriter producer by the name of Max Martin. And Max has been criticized over the years because he doesn't use perfect grammar in his songs. That doesn't mean his songs don't make sense. It just means that once in a while he'll throw a word in that maybe is past tense instead of present tense. And because of that, people will critique that and say, well, the song doesn't make sense. But the reality is, Max is from Sweden, so his first language is not English. So when he first started writing for the English market, he would use words that sounded best. He went off of sound. He may not have totally understood what the word meant in English, but for him it all came down to, well, how does it sound in the melody? And he's written songs for the Backstreet Boys and Pink and Kelly Clarkson and Britney Spears, and he's used this technique throughout. And now today, current songwriters use this technique. It doesn't mean that your song needs to just be gibberish, but if there's a place where you feel, hey, you know what, this word being past tense sounds better than the proper choice, it just flows with the melody better, then go ahead and use that word. You're not being graded by your English teacher on these songs. Your goal here is to create something that sounds best. So again, just keep it simple and don't overthink parts like that. Another tip that should help you, when you're writing a song, you want often, if you want it to go after that catchy pop song and you're looking for a commercial pop record, you want to use syllables and phrases that match one another. They mirror one another. So the first verse, part of the first verse, the syllables match the second part of the first verse. Okay? That way there's something there that makes the listener feel familiar with the song rather quickly because it's somewhat repetitive. The choice of syllables is the same, but the words may change. And for that, some people pick up on it, some don't. But it makes it so that the songs quickly become memorable because they're just mirroring each other with the syllables. And this was very well done in the song by Katy Perry, California Girls. Bonnie McKee's actually spoken on this in the past, how she came up with the melody, and it was a very simple melody. It was not many notes within the melody, but the syllables all mirrored one another. So that's something that you could try to implement within your songwriting and see how it comes out for you. Again, these are not things that you should try in every song. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But in order to mix things up and use some techniques that have proven to work in the past, you might want to try to add these things into some of your songs every once in a while. Now, another big thing that is in a lot of songs, and it's an interesting thing, and most listeners don't even hear it, ever. And many songwriters, even successful ones, don't often use it. But this is a technique that Prince used often, and he mastered it. And the trick here is actually very simple. Yet being simple, it can turn out to be very complicated. What you do is you take the melody from the verse and you actually make that same melody your chorus melody. And I know that sounds a little odd, but this is done often, and it's been done in history many, many times. Some of the biggest songs use this technique. And what happens here is maybe your cadence changes, your delivery changes, the energy changes, but you're using the same melody in the first verse, and then you're just repeating that melody for the chorus. Now, obviously, you're using different lyrics, but the melody is identical. And again, what changes the feel is the production, the percussions. That's going to make it seem as if it's a completely different melody, when in fact it's the same melody. And again, these are techniques that have been used by Max Martin and many others over the years, going back to the 60s and the 70s and great rock songs. And then Prince picked up on it, and Prince used it a lot within his songs. And people today sometimes even call it the Prince theory, because this was something that he used often and it worked well. He masked it with some interesting production choices and made it so that you didn't hear as the listener or realize that you were actually singing or listening to the same melody that you just heard in the verse. So try that out. When writing songs, there's really no right way or wrong way. Okay, there's things that are being changed up and mixed, and it's all what you want to do. Obviously, there are some of these little techniques and tricks that have been used over the years and have been very successful. But I always think it's great to kind of put together an all-star team of sorts and take some from the past and some from the current and put them together into a manner to form maybe your style, what you do with music, how you choose lyrics. And if that's copying the syllables and mirroring them, great. Maybe you add that in with something that you're doing yourself. So feel free when you write songs. Don't think you need to do what someone tells you need to do. It's great to take advice, and it's great to hear what's been done in the past, but try to make it original at the same time.